अस्सलामु अलैकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। मैं डॉक्टर मोहम्मद ख़ान और आप देख रहे हैं मोमिन टीवी। तो आज हम लोग बाइबल के बारे में बात करेंगे कि डॉक्टर जोशुआ ने कहा कि बाइबल के अंदर लिखा है कि नूह अलैहिस्सलाम के बारे में और दाऊद अलैहिस्सलाम के बारे में और लूत अलैहिस्सलाम के बारे में इन्होंने उनकी तौहीन की है, उनके बारे में इन्होंने बहुत ख़राब लिखा है। तो ये तो अल्लाह के बंदे हैं, औलिया है और नबी हैं, ये तो अल्लाह के बहुत प्यारे बंदे हैं जो तो पूरी उम्मत ही इनके पीछे है। तो इन पे जो उंगली उठाएगा वो तो बर्बाद हो जाएगा, निस्ता नाबूद हो जाएगा। तो अल्लाह और मेरे मुसलमान भाइयों, इस वीडियो को इतना फैलाओ कि हर मुसलमान तक पहुंच जाए और अपनी नमाज को कायम करो, नमाज को पकड़ के रखो, क्योंकि क़यामत दिन सबसे पहले हिसाब किताब नमाज का ही होएगा।
This is a big testament to why Allah kept sending us prophets and why Islam was sent as a complete and perfected deen with the Quran. If you read about Noah in the Bible, there is the story about Noah saving humanity from the flood with an ark and all of that. There is this in the Bible. There's another aspect to the story of Noah that not many people know about unless they actually take time to open the Bible. This will not be preached from any pulpit anywhere. Is that the Bible says that Noah was an alcoholic. This is the Bible's portrayal of Noah, or Nuh alayhi salam, that he was an alcoholic, that he was a drunkard. This is the word used in the Bible, that he was a man given to alcohol. And I'm a psychology major, and my field of specialty is mental illnesses, and alcoholism is one of those, is a mental illness. And I know from seeing alcoholism's effect on one of my close friends' parents, I know that someone who is truly addicted to alcohol, and if Noah lived for so long addicted to alcohol, he was seriously addicted to alcohol. It is hard for someone addicted to alcohol to hold down a 9-to-5 job working at McDonald's flipping hamburgers, much less construct an ark to save humanity from a flood that's never happened. So that stopped me for a moment in my tracks, and I said, Noah was an alcoholic, you know, and it bothered me for a minute, because I said, things started popping in my mind like, if Noah was a drunkard, how did he know God was talking to him? Because, I've seen some people, they're alcoholics, you were just asleep in my dog's food bowl the other night, drooling, and now you're telling me you were talking to God last night. To rationally, that would not make sense to me. That's like, an alcoholic on the street coming to you and tell you God's talking to him. He has this would give this man no validity. This man has no validity with anyone. So I didn't pay it too much attention. It caught me, but I said, you know what? I'm going to keep going, because there's one thing that you don't do in Christianity, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute when I started doing it. Then I came across the story of Lot, or Lut alayhi salam. And we all know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah in these stories, but there's another very twisted story in the Bible about Lot and his daughters. There's a story of Lot and his daughters in the Bible that says his daughters got him drunk one night and seduced him and committed incest with him. A'udhu billah. This is the Bible. This is one of the Bible portrayals of the prophets of God. The person who saved his family from Sodom and Gomorrah. This is the story that is in the Bible. So I'm catching myself again, like, oh, this is becoming a really bad habit that I'm seeing. This is becoming a bad recurrence that I'm seeing over and over again in this Bible. So, after that I started, speeding through some of the other mumbo jumbo to get to more of these prophet stories. And I got to the story, there are others, and there are some stories in the Bible that are not PG rated, period. They're not rated for talking anywhere. You would need an 18 and up ID card to be able for me to even tell you these stories. So the one that intrigued me, that caught my attention the most, was of my most beloved story in the Bible, and that was of David and Goliath. That was my most intriguing story to me, because not only was, it said that in the Bible that David was a very small man and Goliath was a very big man, and that was appealing to me because I've always been very short, and as a kid I was really short. So, I said this was a very beautiful story to me, just in its prose and in its concept of overcoming. And so I started to read about David. And there are very beautiful stories about David in the Bible. There are indeed. But there is one story about David in the Bible that shocked me to my core. And it's a story about three people. There's three people in this drama: David, Bathsheba, and Uriah. And it says that David saw this woman named Bathsheba, and she was one of the most beautiful women of her time. And she happened to be married to one of the commanders of his army named Uriah. But David on this day decided that he was not able to resist his temptation to be with this woman Bathsheba, so he did. And he committed adultery with her. And knowing that he did this, the way that he decided to cover it up was he sent a letter to the generals of his army saying that when the battle was fierce, for everyone to pull back and abandon Uriah so that he would be killed, and when he dies then he could have Bathsheba, no harm, no foul. So David went from being the slayer of Goliath, the hero from man, to an adulterer, a plotter, and a murderer. And so this is when I really caught myself and said, hold on now. Something's wrong here. Something's got to give. I said, because to me, God's prophets in my mind were people of example. People who I could follow as an example. Someone who was supposed to be the best of us so that we could follow them and emulate them. And they're turning out to be worse than some of the people that you see on America's Most Wanted. David is somebody that if I only knew this about him from the Bible, I see him coming down the street, I'm going the other way and calling 911 because he has to have a warrant out on him for something. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. This man is not an honorable man at all.
ना मैं वहाबी ना मैं बाबी, मैं हूँ मुस्लिम इल्मी किताबी। ना मैं वहाबी ना मैं बाबी, मैं हूँ मुस्लिम इल्मी किताबी।